All right, so it is 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock on the left coast, and it's time for our weekly Ultimate Fighter segment. So let's welcome to the program Juliana Miller. Hey, JJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We are all doing fine. Let's get right into it. Where are we in filming? We know that it's all completed, but as of last night's episode, where are we in filming? How long have you been in the house?
We have been in the house about 3 weeks now and filming. And back to training already by now, prepping for the next fight.
Does it feel like 3 weeks? Does it feel like more? Or does it feel like less?
It feels like way more. Time seems to move very slowly in the Ultimate Fighter house. As many of you may know, we're not allowed phones, computers, no music. There is zero connection to the outside world.
What do you done? What have you done up through last night's episode? To entertain, to kind of keep your mind off of the task at hand. Which is upcoming fights or the fight that we're about to talk about that we saw last night.
I am completely baffled that y'all did not see how often I play with nunchucks. I had these red puffy nunchucks, and once or twice a day I would go out back and I would swing them around and play with them. This was a good way for me to say my affirmations in my head while having a little fun and just kind of getting a break from all those people in the house. There's just so much chaos all the time. That was one of my favorite ways to escape. Another thing is I would journal every day. I would take my time to go outside and do yoga. Breaths and meditation, really just a lot of mental focus.
Good stuff. What did you do to prep, to get prepared to go into the house? What was pre-Ultimate Fighter to get ready?
Pre-Ultimate Fighter, I was competing every weekend in Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. I was traveling all over the world. I had been to Oregon, Mexico City, Cancun. I was competing all the time. After my last loss with Claire, I realized it is very difficult to go from a COVID time where there's no audience to all of a sudden there's a ton of commotion and so much happening. So I really just wanted to get used to being in competition, being in that center stage with the lights, the camera, the action, all the energy that you feel walking in there. I just needed to get used to it. So I was doing jiu-jitsu competitions around the world.
Let's talk about one thing, from last week's episode real quick, because I just want you to know right up front, I supported you. I agreed with what you did and said, because I've always talked about on this show that there's a difference between a training partner and a teammate. And, we've talked to enough athletes, and, when you're in the house, you've now met these people for 3 weeks. They're not teammates. They're training partners right now. So I didn't have a problem with what you said, but I know that a lot of people have. I don't know if you want to talk about that. Would you do anything differently? I hope not, but I'm curious if you would.
No, I would have been exactly the same. I assume that you're pertaining to my conversation with Bobby.
Yes. Right.
Bobby is a married man. He didn't talk about his wife in any of the entrance videos, and he loved to hang out with the Team Nunez women all the time. Every morning, he would spend these 3-hour conversations and little side meetings. Even Zach said it in the snake box, where he would talk about how they're going to win the show. He would say emotional intelligence and give him all this coaching advice. And listen, I'm fighting these girls. I'm putting my heart and soul into these girls. And guess who's watching me train? Bobby. Bobby sits there and watches me train, and it made me uncomfortable. I was dealing with an injury. Obviously, he played favorites, and I get you can talk to who you want, but I didn't yell at him. I didn't scream. I wasn't obnoxious. I kindly asked if he would respect me enough to not have his morning meetings on the week that I'm fighting. As many of you know, as athletes, we cut weight, which is difficult. You're grumpy. You're hungry. You're exhausted. You're beaten up. And the last thing you want is the person watching you train best friends with the girl you're fighting.
Right.
So I thought I spoke my mind respectfully. Obviously, Bobby didn't listen and did his own thing. I didn't complain about it. I didn't yell at him for it. I just decided he's going to make his own decisions. That being said, one of the first kicks thrown was to my injury. There's a lot of things that I still feel in disagreement with, but like you said before, we're strangers put into a house and slapped into a team. Loyalty doesn't mean something to everyone, clearly a married man. So, I'm big on loyalty. If that was my husband, I would feel really frustrated with how things were going. But, it is what it is. People love to say their hate towards me, but they didn't see it from my perspective. So,
well,
it is what it is.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, and I wanted to say and both the guys that are getting ready to talk to you as well, will tell you that I've said things like this all the time, all the way back to the Ultimate Fighter 1, and so I did support and I did agree with what you said. And I know that a lot of people have said negative stuff. So I just wanted you to know that there are some of us out there that understood and the positive portion of what you did do.
Well, thank you so much. I bet you're a great husband.
I hope my wife would say that. Yes.
I bet she would.
So I just want to say first. Hold
on real quick. Saturday is my 40th wedding anniversary. So yeah, I think we're doing okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can already tell. She's the lucky one.
So my daughter was born in Brazil, so
I was going to throw you the softball.
She shares the same like dual citizenship, dual culture. So she's a big fan of yours. My question goes back to the weight cut. You talk about the weight cut. We, as Knockout Radio, have been critical of pro fighters who miss weight. Some miss it by a short amount, some miss by an enormous amount. And we look at a stance as we're sitting next to Caleb Benenoch, who's a pro NFL player.
He's an offensive lineman. I'm sure that you have to get weight on a regular basis.
We know, we know that as a pro fighter, you have one job. Your one job is to make weight at the agreement of the contract.
That's your first job.
But inside the house, what kind of distractions? I mean, I get it if you're in regular life and you're working construction and you're working to make your dream come true and you have a family and you're trying to make a dream. But to be in a house, like what kind of distractions are keeping people from making weight and having to cut their hair off, within minutes of the deadline?
Well, I'm actually on Team Claire. Initially in my interviews, I was a little frustrated because I thought I was going to be unable to fight. However, they did not provide how they needed to for us to have a normal weight cut. The sauna was constantly broken. As you saw, she was sitting in that tiny little sauna. Those don't do the same as a full body sauna. She didn't have a sauna. There were so many people cutting weight in the house that there was no hot water. So Claire had to deal with all these loopholes that we weren't prepared for, and she had to think of all these alternate ways to make weight. That being said, I also had to make weight, you know what I said? And knowing that we didn't have all these things, I basically starved myself for a week leading up to this fight, just to make sure that there would be no extra issues, and I lost the weight with food. Some people, their bodies don't function that way, and Claire hasn't missed weight before, and I'm so grateful and proud of her for making it. However, the distractions were you don't have any of your normal routine. You don't have your coach. You don't have your saunas you're used to, and you're incapable of reaching out to people for extra help. You have no phone and no way to contact them, so in this sense, Claire got really, really, really close. It wasn't like she was 10 pounds over. I probably would have cried. But I just feel it's a little bit difficult in the house, and Claire did a great job making weight. She's a big girl, She walked in there just under 150. I walked in that cage 132 pounds. So there's quite a difference. She's just a strong athlete, and most of that is muscle, I would say.
Well, at least now I understand why I don't lose weight, because I don't have lack of food. I don't stop eating. So at least now I know what my problem is.
Sauna, or discipline.
Yeah.
When you
also, when we struggled with the heavyweights, they were eating 2 ribeyes a day and we're like 5 bites of salad. Motherfucker.
Oh, she didn't say that. She said trucker.
Trucker.
Yeah, she said trucker. She's a big truck fan.
Oh, yeah, big trucker.
So, like, when you go through all that to make weight, do you feel that you're ever at 100% in the octagon? Do you think that however many hours you have from your weigh-in to your fight, that you can refuel enough?
For my weight cut this time, personally, yes. For Claire's weight cut, no. I do not feel she was at 100%. She started her weight cut the day before. She was dehydrated for over 12 hours at least. This is very hard to recover from, and this is why I like to do the weight cut more with food. I think dehydration really drains you down. That being said, for some reason, all of us do it, and it's just part of the sport.
Ultimate Fighter on ESPN Plus. We're talking to Juliana Miller. I'm curious, are you sitting or standing right now?
I'm standing. My little puppy Russ is outside, so I'm walking around with him in the grass.
All right, just because that was that might be my favorite one clip, and I hope this isn't saying it wrong. When you stood between rounds 2 and 3, I thought that was the ultimate. What words can I say on FCC?
Badass move.
Well, I don't know if we can say ass.
Yeah.
So, all right, that was the ultimate badass move.
Thank you so much. At that point, I realized it was a battle of wills, and I wanted that as bad as I wanted to breathe, to be honest with you, and I was willing to go through whatever storm it took to get there. And when I saw her be a little tired, it just pumped me up and gave me what I needed to go out there and lay it all on the line. I think that's a beautiful part of what we do is heart really shows in there. And for those people who have dealt with struggles in their life, personally, I've dealt with dyslexia, depression, anxiety, OCD, all kinds of things that people say I shouldn't be at the top level. However, if you work on your mind and grow your mind strong enough, the rest will lay itself out in a golden path for you. So for anyone out there, keep your heart and keep your will and don't give up. The only way you can fail is if when you're knocked down, you don't stand up again. I've been knocked down 1,000 times, and this one I decided I'm not going to stay down, that I'm going to get up and take what I deserve.
Or you certainly did that. And my question, just before we go, is how close was that Kimura? I mean, was she going to tap, or was she just going to let you break her arm, or did it? Because it looked like it was over at that point.
I would have had to break it. I'm baffled that she did not submit to that. I honestly thought that her arm was going to break, and she did so good at rolling through. It was pretty damn close, but that's one thing that I love about Claire Guthrie and her heart and soul in that cage is you will have to break her arm to stop her. And honestly, she would probably still keep fighting with a broken arm. That is how tough of a woman she is. And 100%, I tried to break it. I thought it was going to break, and she willed her way out just like me. She has heart.
I do want to thank Forrest Griffin for saying no, don't break it. Break it. I'm just saying.
And I think she's tougher than most of the NFL guys. I mean, those guys aren't going to play through broken arms, are they?
Yeah, his name is Alex Kappa. Finally, what was it like? And again, I know it's reality TV, so I don't know what was set up and what was made up and whatever. But when you came back out after the fight and sat down and talked to Dana, and what was that like?
It was really cool to see that he was excited again. A lot of the fights that I had seen in the stands, he was on his phone, and clearly he's seen a lot of fights, but to spark something in his heart that made him realize that's why he does this show is why I fight. I am a very emotional fighter. I think that's why I have a lot of haters amidst a ton of fans, is that I'm very real and vulnerable out there. I pour my heart out, and for somebody to be able to see that heart, for Dana White to tell me that this is why he puts on the show, I was just really grateful for the opportunity to make him believe in this and want another season. I mean, this is an incredibly important opportunity for upcoming athletes, and I'm so grateful. I'm glad that I could give back a little spark to him for what it's worth.
And not just to him, to everybody. That fight was incredible. I don't go back and watch fights often. I went back and I've already watched it more than one time, and I'm sure that I will watch it again. Juliana, thank you very much for your time. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong, as well as a box of really cool socks from Odd Sock Official for coming on.
Thank you so much. And how'd you know I love socks? I have a sock collection. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world right now.
Well, then let's go one step further. Go to their website. It's oddsockofficial.com, and write down, tell me which ones you want. So I won't let them just send a box. I'll have them send the box of the ones that you tell me you like. And I'll text you my number, after the show today, so you have it, and you can let me know what socks you want.
Oh, my gosh. I'm jumping up and down in excitement right now. Thank you, and I hope you'll have an amazing day.
Yeah, you as well. We'll talk to you again really, really soon.
Great fight. Great job.
It was.
Fantastic.
Ultimate Fighter, available ESPN Plus. I can't wait till next week. I don't even get to see it. I don't know anything about it till Monday, but so far the fights have been getting better and better. Last night, one of the best fights I've seen in a long time.